Could you tell us a little bit about your chapter in the Pro-Environmental Behaviour Change Handbook?
Well, my chapter was all about active travel, and it was trying to understand how we could promote active travel, both to reduce the environmental impacts of private car use, but also to promote the health and well-being benefits of travelling in an active way, walking, cycling, running, and so on. So the chapter I wrote was really about how we understand that from a behavioural change perspective, because there's been so much research on how individuals might be able to change their behaviour to reduce car use, promote walking and cycling and so on. But a lot of those insights are just from a quantitative perspective. So they can generate a lot of information that's generalisable to the population. But what we know less about is how we might be able to viably intervene to promote active travel measures. And so what my chapter does is it shows how we can use existing quantitative techniques, but then develop our understandings through qualitative methods. And it's based on a series of workshops that I was involved in running a couple of years ago, where we were working with commuters, so people who drove to work, cycled, walked, used public transport. And we wanted to understand the depth of, for example, if weather information seems to influence the way that people make their decisions about travel. What does that really mean? How is that part of the lived experience of people? And if we're then developing messages, for example, that would be delivered through people's phones, what are the kinds of keywords and images that we might need to use in order to get a significant behavioural shift and also to make that last? So the chapter demonstrates how we can use different types of social scientific data, quantitative methods based on large-scale social surveys, but also workshops that work with the people in terms of how they experience their everyday lives, how they articulate what we as social scientists see in a spreadsheet as numbers. So the chapter seeks to look at how we might viably develop those interventions. And I think what we need to do in the future is then to take those understandings and think about how do they fit into the broader policy framework, both in terms of regulation, things like low traffic neighbourhoods, but also incentives like cycle to work schemes. And I think that's where the future lies for this research.